What's up, preppers? Welcome back to another live show. Let me know if you can hear me okay, if there's audio coming through. That's the first thing I need to check before we dive straight into it. 2 seconds. Let me know if you can hear me okay. 5x5 brown coat prepper. I did ask you at the start where you at, and brown coat prepper wins because he's the first one that said a zone. I'm not bothered about what town you're in. It wasn't about OPSEC. I was just wondering if anyone picked up on the zones thing. So thank you for that. Yes, so good evening, everybody. This is going to be hopefully a series of lives, possibly videos if I don't get a chance to do lives, of show and tell, rather than just sat talking about prepping, showing you my individual things. And hopefully, in the process, learning from you guys. I've even got my pad and paper here for suggestions I think are bag worthy. So this is all about improving my get home bag that I use on a regular basis, which is here. Now, first point I will make, there's things hanging off it. Don't have things hanging off your bag. There's a water flask that I'll show you shortly that's hanging off it, and there's a shamag. Both of these will not be hanging off them when I'm coming home. The shamag, I'll be wearing, the water bottle hooks onto my belt. So get that out of the way first before somebody does that quick observation there. So let's take it off. It's not that heavy. There's quite a lot of stuff in, surprisingly. I think I could easily walk with this. The 90-mile hike I did was much heavier than this, so I'm basing it around that. Oh, let's take it off. And we'll pop it here. And then we'll activate our, hopefully, if it works, kit camera. There you go. So this is the bag here. And I did have it all laid out on the bench, but I thought that's not the best way to start this. I wanted to start it packed up so you can see it all goes in there and you can see it's manageable as it is. So, of course, I mentioned the shamag first. Now, everyone should have one of these. Multi-use for absolutely anything. Filtering water, keeping warm, contaminants. You know, I'm going to have to do a video purely on shamag usage, but there is, trust me, it's worth having. So that's the first thing that's in/on the Get Home kit. I'm looking at a small screen here, and I've got a laptop down here for this camera. So there's a chance I'll miss comments. If you do put a super in, I won't miss that because it stars it automatically. But try and put capitals for comments and I'll try and go back to them incrementally. Okay, so let's take this off first. This is for my Pathfinder water bottle. Little case there. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. Inside, it has the Pathfinder water bottle. It usually has a cup that's on that fits, but that's not on there. I'll show you why shortly. But that goes in there. There's still plenty of room in top. This pouch at the front, I leave empty. He says that there is a little tool in there for taking a hot flask off. Other than that, it's an empty pouch. Now, the reason for this is this goes on my belt. That doubles up as a little foraging pouch. Find berries along the way, they go in there. So that is the flask that goes on my belt. The other thing clipped on the outside that I didn't mention is gloves. These are just apparently Temu ones. I got them as part of an auction lot, so I don't know. But they fit well. I can still do everything. And they've got like a fur lining to them. Nice and warm, good, strong gloves. Leather grips on there. Hi, Sapper. Good to see you in here. Hope you're well. Best wishes to you and the family, of course, at these times. Right. Let's start with the front pouches, shall we? It's a bit more organized than the last time I ever said about my car kit, so... But bear with me, it's still a bit all over the place because that's the type of person I am. Pouch 1, communications. We have this, which many of us already know what this is. Those who don't, this is a Meshtastic node. While walking, I'll be up in high places. This will clip onto the front strap of the backpack here to give me maximum chance of getting some sort of signal, getting a message home to let them know I'm on the way. You're all just having your own conversation. No questions from me yet. Capsules if you do. Of course, we have a radio as well. All charged up, ready to go. Strapped into this pocket on a clasp here is one of the torches. As you can see there, and it's on a clasp. This clasp is a quick release, so I can use just the torch, but my track record of losing things, it's a nice place to have an extra one there. I also have a life straw in here. Wouldn't recommend it as your number one water source unless you've got the full filtering bag and stuff. You don't want to be sat there trying to suck in on the river, but desperate times, you never know. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Power bank for charging all the things you see. This will also hook up with a wire straight to the mesh node. Multi-tool. Now, I know lots of us have got a multi-tool that we love, Pride and Joy, Leatherman, etc., whatever you've got, or a Gerber. This is just a cheap one. This is an ex-military one. It's good to have things like this that you can put in the bag and leave, rather than trying to worry about taking it out of your pocket or putting it in there, or taking it out of one bag and putting it in another. Best to have a decent enough sturdy one that you can use, that you can put in there. These you can find these at places like antique places. I found this at Bygone Times. If you do see one like this, grab it. They're solid, they're sturdy. I really rate them. However, I've put off to the side here Mrs. Urban Prepper's present I just got for her, which was just an Amazon buy. It was like less than 20 quid. It's got the grand total of 8 tools on there, but it includes a blade, a saw, everything you might possibly need. It's got a little clip to hang on. If it's just to dump in a bag and it's just for a 48 to 72 hour journey, worth having. Bear in mind, this doesn't include my EDC, which we've seen the knife on a previous video. If you've not, you can have a look at that afterwards. Let me quickly scroll up through the comments to make sure I'm not missing anything. Thanks, Mike. Means a lot. Yeah, no problems, Sapper. We're always here. That's what we're all about. Brown Coat Prepper. Who do you have on the other end? Read the radio. Right. Okay. So Mrs. UP has mesh and has radio. We're still yet to train on the fact of, if this happens, you need to go into this magical metal box, take out the mesh, start it back up again, take out the old phone, start it back up again. We need some training on that bit, but she's at the other end of these. But also within our network, if I'm closer to work, there's people near my work that is within our network that I know I can contact if I need to. So that's who's on the end of the radio. Are you going to use an earpiece with a radio? Do you know what? I tried them at Airsoft Rift Security and they fall out of my ears. I've got 2 little ears. They don't hook on well and they just annoy me. So probably it's not. Looks cool, but it's not practical for me. Maybe a throat mic. That's it. So we'll carry on. We're still in this pocket. There's lots of places where there's bits dumped, right? So I apologize for that. And you might think that's a weird place for it. That's mainly communications, but there happens to be some water tablets, both Oasis that you can get on Amazon, and of course, ex-military ones. Loads of water filtering potential there. That's a micro cloth. You get that wet, opens up. It's less of a cloth and more like a baby wipe by the time it opens up. And Vaseline, not just for the long walks and the shaving, but also a great fire starter. That's that pocket empty. The torch is still hanging there because, like I say, otherwise I'll lose it. you could purchase a business license from Ofcom. I'm saving up to stay at home at the moment, traveling sapper. That'll have to be long-term plans. Right, in this pocket, we cross over a little bit because we've got some of our food, right? So what we've got in this front pocket is just the snack side of our food. 2 of these little broad beans, crunchy broad beans. They're like almost like dehydrated broad beans, but they're seasoned, so they're quite nice. And a little tub of jelly sweets. Nice little sugar rush should you need it. So there then. That's in the front pocket, so I don't have to delve completely into the bag if I just want a quick bite. The other thing I've usually got in there, which I'll hold my hands up, I've done a big mistake and I've ate them, is 2 protein bars, but they've gone. They'll get replaced shortly. Gorilla tape or any sort of duct tape is going to come in handy for anything, whether that's quick repairs on the fly, whether that's trying to put the tarp up that we've got, our shelter, whether it's a repair or whether it's just literally getting it tied to a tree. It's always going to come in handy. Great thing to have. Everyone should have this. We have an alternative knife. Obviously, I'll have my EDC blade, like I say, previous video. This is the Wolfcraft. It's serrated, good for gathering little sticks and stuff like that. If you need to cut anything up like that. Yeah. Not a massive fan of the serrated edge, but it gives me variation because my EDC blade is obviously a straight edge. Sorry, I need to keep checking the comments. For your water tabs, you can ask soap freezer bag that hold 1 litre and stand there on their own. Yeah, good idea. Freezer bags, yeah. Got some sealer bags in there that could be repurposed like that, I suppose. Portable burner. I've got several options for cooking and heating. This could be just a little campfire, or it could be the source of what you're cooking. But this costs next to nothing. Do you know what? Well, I'll show you that after, actually. I don't want to get it all out while I'm still doing that. But it's just like a gel in there with like a methylated spirits, lights, just a mellow flame. Be a nice extra heat source. Also a cooking option, albeit very slow to cook on that. Gorilla Tape and Vaseline, otherwise known as Mike's dating kit, are also both great fire starters. Gorilla Tape is also great for kindling, keeping it clean, you know. Right. This is what I got for my hike, and it served me really well. All of this stuff, I've not linked it all below, but I've got an Amazon wish list down there. Some of it you'll find in there. If you go into the wish list, I think you can filter into purchased, and you'll see it there that it's been got. But that is a little stove, just mounts on top of the gas bottle, and it was, to be fair, really good, really reliable. I had no problems with it whatsoever, and used it quite a few times on that hike. And let's be fair, should you need it, SHDF or just bugging in, this is a little thing you can use as a filter. So it's a plastic, if you can gather some water up. You've got your shemag in there. It's got a little drip hole there that could then go through the live straw. You know, improvisation, adapt, overcome. That's the key. The other key is plenty of coffee. I take 1 Des Catty's tiny mini burger light as out in my titanium cup 75, says Mark's Adventures. Bags look decent though. I'll go on to the bag at the end. You'll change your mind. Does he live in a flat or a basement? Neither. Light sticks are also very useful as well. If you have white, green, yellow, red, that would add to the bug out bag. Yes, do you know what? I'll put a note of that because I've got some mini ones. Right, sticks. I've got some mini ones that are going in the little EDC tin. and I've got one full-size glow stick, but I could do with a few more, so I'm going to note that down. Thank you for that. Sensible suggestions as well. I best reiterate that because Scottish Prepper's in the house, you know, egged on by Miss Worm. Thank you both for being here, but I know what you like. Yeah, cheers for that, Shadow Scout Swede. I've also got a pen, just a pen. Honestly, it's just a pen for making notes. So that's a pen, and we'll say no more about it. And that's them 2 pockets empty. So let's zip them back up. Let's move this out the way before it explodes and spills coffee everywhere. So we're going to unclip these 2 tabs here on top, and there's a Velcro that comes down, and this has like a little pocket. It also has 2 more of the clips here at the side, and you can unclip them and the whole thing folds out completely. Now, I'm probably not making the most use out of this bag. There's probably loads more people could do with it, hence me trying to get your guys' suggestions. This is a pain in the ass, bulky, massive tab, basically. So I can make my shelter with this. It's huge. Anybody that was at the Midlands Survival Meet will have seen it up next to my car. It could pretty much cover the top of my car. It's a good like 8 foot, I think. 8x6, I think it is. It's huge. I want to replace this with a poncho, but one of our subscribers has got me one, so eventually I'll pick that up, and that will save a lot of space. Not only that, if it is bad weather, I can take it off and wear it and free up some room in the bag. But for now, I have to have a shelter. This is a nice big one. I can use half of it. I can double it up. I can put it in a full circle. It depends what kind of rig you want to do, but that's that. Pre-tie bungee cords on all your fixing points before you fold it in there, and that saves having to carry extra. No, I don't carry tent pegs. I've got the means to craft them out of a bit of a stick, and it takes 2 seconds. It's not a massive effort, so I don't see the point. A load of paracord is very handy. Well, spoilers, wait and see. In my defense, Miss Worm started it. I can't start it without coffee, at least 2 heaped spoons of coffee in it with 7 sugars. Well, 7 sugars. That's not good. That's not good. Switch to sweeteners. Make sure you're drinking it from a fireside mug. Extreme close-up. There we go. Look at that. Great finish, considering I've completely abused this cup for the last 3 months. In this bit, we have a zip section, and we have a little clip together here, and that is a map. Okay. Anyone wants to zoom in quickly and, you know, compromise my OPSEC, guess what? It's not my map. It's a stunt map. Don't even know where this is. Oh, it could cover as part of my journey, I suppose. Yeah. Anyway, that's a map. Decent compass that works. Test it, take it out, use it. This one is a silver one. You can get much better brands, I'm sure, but it works a treat. Compass and a map, because you never know if the phone's compromised, if the phone gets damaged, if the phone gets wet, if you can't use maps, if you've no signal, etc., etc., etc. Tactile reel. Now, somebody made a suggestion last time, and don't worry, I have done. Keep this in a plastic wallet, like the plastic wallets you get in the organizer. Seal this in some sort of either plastic wallet or tape it up in a bag or something like that, something waterproof. Mine's not, because obviously this is not my real map. Attached with the map is torch numero 2, which many of you recognize if you've seen the review. It is the MT1A Pro night core light, and it is unreally bright. And I must say, the battery length, how long the battery lasts on this, is unreal. So, but again, USB chargeable with the power bank, we can keep that going for ages. Another good feature of this, clips that way like normal, but it has a clip on the opposite way. So if you're wearing a hat, it can clip onto the hat like that and becomes a head torch. For all the people about to suggest a head torch, that's what that is as well. Mrs. Urban Prepper is going to come in. The kitchen bench is going to be full and I'm going to get lynched. Also in here is a tourniquet. Okay. The reason this is separate and in there, because if it was an injury that required one of them, I don't want to be digging through finding the whole medikit. Whereas if it's a little cut, something I can deal with, I don't mind going in and grabbing my medical kit. However, if it's something that requires a tourniquet, I want it as quickly as possible. This is in a part of the bag that I can literally, even when it's closed, plunge my hand into it and grab it out. Maybe less fighting with the Velcro, because when that's in there, it's open a bit. But there you go, tourniquet in that section. With them, do a first aid course, learn how to use them, do research, everything. You can do damage using them if not used properly. Disclaimer. Right, let's open that back up. We don't need to, that's done, I think. Yes, that's empty. So just so you see in the bag on the way through, that's that little flap section. It's also got this stop here, so it can open more like a luggage chute. So it half opens, it's got a zip section there, and it's got a little expanding, almost like a airplane seat pocket here across the back as well. So you can have all sorts in there. I've not maxed this out to its capacity because I've got to carry it, right? I've got my UK Urban Prepper mobile phone case and my sticker, but my patch hasn't arrived. The patches take a bit, some things take a bit longer than others. They're from different sources. They've got to be created. I'm glad you got the phone case. I loved my phone case. Let me know what you think of it. Sweeteners don't fill you up. Studies have shown body still craves. I have honey in my tea. Honey in tea is good, but I couldn't have it in coffee. Medical gloves with it too, Mike, to protect yourself. With the tourniquet. Good idea. Good idea. I do have medical gloves in here, but with the tourniquet, I imagine if it's a get-home bag and I've got to use the tourniquet in a super emergency, it's me, so I'm not really bothered. Right. Unzip this and it all falls down. So this is the main section of the bag and the last section of the bag. You'll be pleased to know. This is the Pathfinder mug, which I can highly recommend. They're absolutely superb. And this does fit on top of that Pathfinder water bottle we saw earlier. And it all fits in that little container nicely. But why am I not doing that? Because inside the very firm lid is my gas. Yeah, protected by this inside there. I'm sure there's many better ways to do it. To be honest, if this was a bug out bag, I'd probably even drop the gas and I'd just be using what I need to use to start a fire and stuff like that. But it's not, it's a get home bag, luxuries. I still want to brew on the go. So that's that. The cup is everything, by the way. The cup is my mess tin. It's for my brews, it's for my meals, it's for everything. I can't carry loads of cutlery and loads of stuff like that. So that's everything in one. First aid kit, of course. This is a baby version of my main first aid kit in the house and my secondary first aid kit, which is practically a main one as well, in the car. Lots of first aid. Vinyl gloves right there. The first thing you see when you open it. Gloves to protect yourself. There's normal band-aids behind there as well. Shears, tweezers, usual standard stuff. I'll just show you the extras I've thrown in. There's a saline solution here, which you twist the top off. You can get these in bulk off Amazon really cheap, and you can squeeze that. It's like an eye wash, yeah? Vital sometimes. Super glue. I'm not going to give you any bad medical advice, but super glue can come in handy. The pins are dropping out. And in this back section, the only additions to the standard medical kit is, of course, our Israeli style bandage. Again, buy one, open one, test one, see how it works. Make sure you're ready for when it does. And then all the usual standard dressings, tape. I've got double tape, extra tape as well. The ones they give you in cheap medical kits are never any good. This stuff is great. It's like Keno tape. There you go. So, good, solid medical kit. I mean, if I need all of that in 48 hours, I don't think I'm making it home anyway, but it's good to have. And you never know what you're going to come across on the road. Let's have a look at the comments for a second. Medicals with it. Fuel for the body, super lightweight, and will give you everything your body requires. Diet, milkshake, sasses, next to no weight, but will power you for 2 to 4 days. Good idea. Good idea. Hit the like button, says Paul C. Thank you, Paul. Fold down cups are good too. Well, like I say, I've got the one cup that's also for cooking in and everything. So, you know, I might have the flavour of last night's dinner in my brew in the morning if I don't clean it properly, but it is what it is. It's about getting home as quick as possible for me. Nice first aid kit. I like that one. Cheers, Shadow Scout Swede. That's the baby. I'll show you the big one day. Who said paracord? We have a reel here. Yeah, loads of uses. We all know the score, especially when it comes to setting up shelters or anything like that. I'm not going to scale a mountain, I don't think, with this one, but, you know, you could braid it up and make it as strong as you needed to. Paracord. Let's move that to one side for a second. Here we have an emergency blanket because I ain't fitting a sleeping bag in here. This is a full-on emergency sleeping bag, not just a blanket. You can see it's a lot thicker than the ones you get in the medical kits. It's strong. I could fold it back down and reuse it. 2.2 meters by 1 meter, and this only weighs 225 grams. So great addition. Perfect for cold nights. Obviously, I'd be leaving all my gear on anyway, so that's my super comfy sleeping bag for getting home. I don't think I'd be able to sleep if I'm totally honest. Could get a bump cap as a compromise. Have you considered hard hat for riot scenarios? I mean, it's a bit extreme in the get home bag, but you know, I'll show you some other stuff shortly. 2 sets of baby wipes, not baby wipes, but handy wipes. For the face, for the hands, and especially for the butt. There we go. I mean, anyone who's spent any time in hospital can know that you don't really need to poop for 2 days if you can hold it in if you need to. This is emergency blanket numero 2. Could be the potential giveaway one. Could be if I need the extra heat. It's not as thick, it's not as quality, but it will still do a job. And if I need an extra layer, there you go. Could also double up if I've set up my tarp and I've got a fire. I could wrap this around a tree nearby or make a little side and put this on and to deflect heat. So multiple uses. And not only that, if I happen to pierce one, I've got a spare. Collapsible water bottle, not full of water. Water will go into it at the end as well. But if I happen to collect water on the way, fresh water from somewhere, life straw, etc., collapsible water bottle is always handy, especially these with the hook that you can clip onto it, or I can clip onto the side of the bag. Don't need any extra room once it's full. It's just a bit of extra weight. Question, 7% in the poll are brand new preppers. If you could recommend buying just one thing to start them off, what would it be? Food. Start with the core of prepping. Always start with the core of prepping, which is bugging in, if you can, food and water. If you have to start, and as soon as you've got, like, I don't know, 30 days, that might sound like a lot, but it really isn't once you put it down. Most people used to do a monthly shop anyway. Once you're comfortable with that kind of food, I'd go straight to a emergency bug out bag or get home bag. That would be the next step for that. You can buy pre-made ones that are overcharged, or you can make your own, tailor it to your needs. And you meant for the bag. First thing I'd buy for the bag, First thing I'd buy for my get home bag would be a cooker, like the little gas stove thing, because that has multiple uses. If I'm already home, I can go into this and I know I can still use it. So yeah, probably is that. There's it's one of those things you can't really do one item at a time. You've got to compile the bag. But no, leave that for now. We'll do food last. Haha. Let's get this out of the way first. This is my multi-tool slash, if I happen to be on the way home, handy for zombies tool. That's all we'll say. Aliens and zombies, not people. And it comes, another Amazon find, it also comes with a blade in there, which you can attach to this handle like that. And that becomes quite a handy little cutting tool. It's also got the little hook on the side, happened to be, you know, gutting some fish. But the main point of this is to all go together. I'm not going to screw it tight just for the sake of showing, but all go together, and it is solid when you get it together to become a spade slash zombie keep away tool. I know it looks like one of these cheap gimmicky things, but it was a gift off Mrs. Urban Prepper, and I was shocked at the quality. That's been used and cleaned up that well, and still perfect edge. Cutting edge there, sharp. Saw edge there. That's like a cutting edge as well inside there, and obviously the spade. It's a nifty little tool, and it all folds down nice and compact. So whether you're digging a hole to poop into or keeping aliens and zombies at bay, this will be my go-to. Get home bag, walking shoes. Yes, I'm lucky enough not to have to wear formal wear to my work, so I'm always in a form of walking shoes or walking boots, so I'm covered there. But yes, definitely. Personally, I'd stick them in the car or something anyway. It wouldn't be in this bag because they'll be on your feet. Anything that's going to be on my person won't be packed inside here. It'll be in the car or something like that, wherever I'm going to, whatever vehicle I'm going in. Good to hear. You got a bit of good news there, traveling sapper. Impressive spade. Seems a bit basic, but a bum bag for vital documents to keep safe on your person. Yeah, but I mean, this is a get home bag. If it was a bug out bag, I'd agree with you. And we've all seen my Survivor USB stick that I take for all my backups on. That's to put that back away. But this is a get home bag, and I've got a missus and a child at home. So the chances of me actually using the sleeping bags and setting up a shelter are going to be slim, because I'm going to want to power through, you know, stop, eat, fuel, go. And obviously I have these things just in case I need them, but getting home quick is my priority. Last two bits in here, should be three, but there's two. Because one's in the wash, believe it or not. This is like a spare shirt. It's an Apex 7 shirt, which is like a cycling shirt, sweat wicking, but also like a base layer. I can either put that on under, or if for some reason I get wet, I can put that on dry to then get into my sleeping bag. I've got a pair of trousers that match this that are just as thin. They're not here, but that's what I'll have them too. I know people are going to say socks, but again, it's about getting home quick. If I need to dry my socks, I can do that if I need to. All ball pin hammers for the law. Shades. I've got shades in the car. He said that's a good idea though for get home. Any suggestions, please, and questions, please try and put them in capitals if you're not using all the super chats, because that's difficult to see on both of these. This is my little magical bag of fire. This is my fire starting kit. So if I did have to stop properly, set up camp, it's slow progress, it's bad weather, it's snow, etc. I'm only making 5 miles a day. It's taking a long time. Obviously, I'm going to have to ration my food, scavenge what I can, but I'll need forms of fire and heat more than the little gas stove. So these are cotton wool balls, cotton buds, cotton ball balls, whatever you want to call them, covered in Vaseline. Great fire starter. Where's that gone? That's gone. It's just appeared. All right, it's somewhere here. But those of you observant will notice it's the same tub that the sweets are in. So I've made these myself out of the leftover tubs. 2 of them. Each one's got about 10 of the balls in. You would only ever need 1 to start a fire. Really bad weather, potentially more if it's really, really bad weather. But generally, 1 of them will go up, no problems, if you've got the right kindling around it as well. A little tea light candle. I'm not going to sit there and cook something on it, but the wax and just the ability to start a fire with it comes in handy. Of course, a ferro rod. It's not a massive one, but it works. Yeah. I do want to get one of the giant ones that I saw at the Midland Survival Meet, but just haven't been able to yet. What else in here? A spare ferro rod. Obviously, a lighter. And a spare ferro rod. You can tell this is the, I definitely want to get a fire started here. We've got some wicks here that are pre-soaked, like paraffin wicks. Again, quick fire starting. And we have usually quite a gimmicky thing, but I have used it. Now, not something I'd really recommend. It's a saw for anyone that can't see in the detail. It's like one of the saws with the loop things. You can loop it around something, cut it down. Now, I would use this probably as if I needed a piece of decent, strong wood to make something. For example, part of getting the shelter up, something like that. For firewood, if you're having to cut it off a live tree, it's not going to burn that well. It will burn eventually, but it's not going to burn that well. So probably not the first choice. And there's just another striker in there from the ferro rod. So that's my burn things bag. As Mike sets fire to his kitchen. Always got the fire extinguisher on standby. Don't you worry, brown coat. There we go. So that's the fire starting bag. You can see how much in the background, just how much is actually packed into a small space once you get it out. We've not finished. We're on to food. Now, different schools of thought on this, food and water. But so food, like I say, my goal is to get home quick. It's not to have 4 solid meals a day and enjoy a relaxing evening with a glass of wine by the fire. It's get home, it's fuel, it's get home. So with that in mind, here's our diet. So we've got some main meals, MREs. You've got many choices when it comes to these. I've got steak, vegetables with dumplings, chicken with pasta, beef burrito style filling with rice. And yes, I have got a dessert, even though I just said no dessert. And I've got chocolate pudding in chocolate sauce. Good sugar rush energy for that last burst. To complement them, I've got good old biscuits brown. Anyone who's been in the army or in any of the military service that give you these ration packs, they will know how not great they are. But I do have some of the awesome apricot jam to squeeze on them. That's 1 breakfast there. I've got 2 of these, which are fruit flavored powder drinks. They are also energy drinks, high in caffeine, good for an energy boost. I realize I'm blocking the camera there. I'll have to hold it up elsewhere. And I've got raspberry toasted muesli with milk. Now, these are really good. I might get a couple more of these because they only take 100 ml, I believe. Yeah, 100 ml of water. Mix well, leave to stand for a minute, and then eat it. No heating, no nothing, just a splash of water and off you go. And 100 ml, you consider what a 500 ml bottle is, quite a small bottle, a fifth of that. It's not that hard. It's not going to take much out of your water ration. And then last of all, we have our classic British military accessory pack. Coffee, tea, sugar, creamer, chewing gum, tissues. What else they put in there? I can't remember now. That's just off the top of my head. What was that one? They change it all the time, so... Oh, it's just a wet wipe. That's fine. I think that's it. Oh, there's more water purification tablets in there as well. And, of course, the spork. The solid, quality British Army spork. It'll last longer than your stainless steel, that will. That's our meals. And, of course, you saw the snacks before in the front pouch. 48 hours. So we're only looking at eating twice in a 24-hour period. With, well, sorry, 3 times if you include the small breakfast. But 2 main meals in a 24-hour period. I probably wouldn't even eat all that because I'd be on the go so much. The other reason I've gone for wet pack rations mainly is if I don't want to stop and I don't want to start a fire and I don't want to heat it, I pull one of them out and I pull the spork out and I eat it cold on the go. Yeah? But this is not about comfort. It's not about luxury. It's not about a bug-out bag that's the way you're going to live from now on. It's about getting home as quick as possible. What's that? Twice and 3 snacks and breakfast. Not 3 snacks. It's not 3 snacks. A snack. 2 snacks. 2 snacks. Potentially. But yeah, the thing is I'm not going to do that anyway because I'm saying 48 hours based on distance, based on what I know I can do walking speed, based on the drive I'll have to get home. However, that doesn't take into account. Let's turn the kit cam off for now so you're not just staring at my arm. What that doesn't take into account is is if it's really bad weather, that 48 hours could turn into 72 hours. Yeah. You know, and so on and so forth. I could spread this if I really needed to over 4 or 5 days. I would be on rations, like real rationing, but it is possible. So that's kind of my cutoff, and then I'll be looking for Mr. Squirrel and following that path. So, but that's it. Let me know what you think in the chat. Let me know what to add. I've got my notepad here. I'm not going to bore you with me loading it all back up. I'm just going to throw a few bits in so I can get to my actual bloody notepad here. And I'll repack it later because I will need it for tomorrow. Okay. Set that up. This bag. Oh yeah, the bag. Sorry, I thought I said I'd mention. So the bag is not a great brand. It is combat.uk. It's a nav bag, black in colour, right? Now, Combat's not always the greatest quality gear. I got given this, not as like from a company, but from a person. So it's great. I found the quality really good. The zips are good quality. The tabs on them are all good there. No problems. Everything's strong. It's took a beating. It's been going for a long time. It's got the molly stuff on the front there. Loads of sections, loads of options. On the back, we've got 2 big straps here and a chest strap across. It doesn't have a waistband strap, but it also has an over-the-shoulder to carry it like a hold-all as well. So you can carry it like that as a bag. It can go on your back, or you've got the big hold-all strap as well. So multiple options. Combat.uk, nav bag. So there you go. That's that one. Ta-da! 77 people watching this crap. Really appreciate it. Let's have a look in the comments to see if I've missed anything. Best I can. Apologise that you've got to look at the side of my head while I do this. Professional, of course, you know. What's that? Shadow Scout Swede says, I have to bounce now. I have to go to bed and get some sleep. I have to get up really early tomorrow. I'll see you later, Mike. God bless. See you later, Shadow Scout Swede. Anyone who doesn't know, Shadow Scout Swede, it really makes me tongue twist that. Does a live every single Saturday, which is usually a conversation between 4 or 5 preppers, and it usually goes on for about 4 or 5 hours, so well worth tuning in. Loads of knowledge there. The choc pud is like a tile off the space shuttle. I don't dish it. Listen, I like that. The sticky toffee is better. The sticky toffee is better from my experience anyway. As long as it's the same as it was in the early noughties, then I'm okay with it. I thought we were doing drug. My work is 11.2 miles, so get home is minimal. Get home, yeah, that's... Take into account scenarios, though, Phil, the route, if it's prone to flooding, if there could be any blockages, if you've got to avoid a population area. So make sure you take everything into account. Don't just think, oh, I'm 10 miles away, it's easy. The fire kit of folded foul sheet, 8 foot, 8 foot, is handy for putting underneath or as a lid, etc. Yeah, it is. But I really do want the poncho instead for traveling lighter. Thank you, Robert. Do the ration packs still come with a target card print in the box? No. No. Not the ones I've had anyway. They come in a carrier bag now with their own printed. It wasn't even in a bag like that when I had them. The good old days. Have you a Faraday bag for the self-checkouts? I don't have a Faraday bag, no. I have a Faraday box that I've built, but not a bag. There you go, traveling sapper. They come in a backpacks now, not a box. My work is 7 miles away, but easy to do. Again, don't take it for granted. Look at the route. Think of anything you might have to avoid on that route if it's really bad. Most folk have a minimum 40 days and nights reserves. I have a slight. Most folk have a minimum 40 days and nights reserves. I wish that was most folk. Most folk have 1 day's worth of food in the house. What was Mel's question? Does the bag have a waterproof cover? No, it doesn't. But this is why I want to replace the tarp with a poncho. It's the Belgian ponchos, and that will go over me and over the bag in wet weather, like I did on my hike with the other poncho I had. So it'll be covered that way, but no, it doesn't have a cover with it. Good point. This is why, obviously, as well, the map that you saw was a dummy map. My map comes in a plastic packet sealed. So anything you need to waterproof. Probably the clothes I've got in there, the t-shirt and the pants, that will have to go in a plastic bag as well. So waterproofing is something I need to consider. It's quite a solid bag for showers, just for rain showers. I've had it out in the rain, nothing's got through. But yeah, I wouldn't like to get into a massive deluge with it. 10 more minutes, guys, at the most. 30 minutes away from my home, so I've got a get-home bag with me. You'd laugh your socks off if you saw the looks I'm getting off the nurses. No, well, you know, who'd be laughing if you needed it? Don't forget to like it. Helps the channel and it's free. There we go. Bob942 in the house. Hello, Bob. How you doing? We've just gone through my get-home bag. You've just missed it, but I'm open to suggestions. That's what I'm waiting to see. I came in late, so I don't know if you mentioned gloves. Yes, I've got gloves. They were attached to the actually outside of the bag. These are just cheapies. Now, I don't know why I'm showing it to that camera. The camera's not on. They're just cheap gloves. They've got a good grip on them. They don't restrict my movement in any way, and they're like lined with a bit of fur there. Got a zip. I got them as part of an auction lot with the bulk stuff. Somebody told me they were from Temu or AliExpress or something like that. I don't mind. It is what it is. What I was saying is I don't promote false economy, buy cheap, buy twice. But when it comes to having multiple kit bags, just for the sake of getting them ready, it's sometimes worth getting some cheaper items. Like I showed you the cheap version of a multi-tool. I'd usually carry like my Leatherman or my Gerber in the car and on my person, but that can be dumped in a bag because it's just a cheap thing as an extra. And when we're talking about 48 to 72 hours to get home, it's not really going to fail in that time. Hopefully not going to fail in that time. It beats having this hanging off my leg on a get home anyway. So yes, gloves covered. Thank you, Grass Monster 3. And thankful I work less than a mile from home. Yeah, that's always good. Foraging mini book, perhaps. Yes. Do you know what? I've actually got the mini food for free, and I've got the pocket SAS survival guide, but they're in my bug out bag. Maybe I should get another copy for this. They'll be added to my list. Thank you for that. I'll actually write that down. Copy SAS plus forage. There we go. Because they're pocket size as well, so I definitely have room for them. Thank you for that one. That's a great one, Phil. What? No Pepsi included? Oh, I'll tell you what I didn't mention. Water, of course. No one's asked me about water. I showed you the life straw, but that's going to be, I know, I don't want to be lying down trying to suck through a puddle. It's just a last minute emergency. I've got ways of filtering with a Shemag for heavy stuff. I've got tablets to sterilize water if I need to. That's not ideal. The car always has a case of 18 to 20 500 ml bottles of water. So to get home, I will be filling this, which is about a litre, Pathfinder, and that carries on my belt, and I will put 2 of the 500 mils in. Now, despite what you think, 2 litres a day, 4 litres a day per person, whatever they decide to tell you need for water, for the sake of getting home in 72 hours, you don't need all that much water. Even with using a bit for that muesli that I had, I think that's more than enough, and I have got means to filter if I need to. So I'm going to be carrying more or less 2 litres of water. So if it's 48 hours, that's a litre a day. More than enough. I know I'm going to be doing exercise and that, but it's about survival and it's about getting home as quick as possible, not about living at home. If we're talking at home, I've got 40 odd litres just under there. I've got 2.2 gallons sat there, etc. But definitely no Pepsi, CJ. No Pepsi here. Wrong house. Never any Pepsi here. Any reflective bits for the dark? No, but I am going to get the glow sticks as somebody suggested. I've already wrote them down, not only to look in the bag and stuff like that, but I could also strap them into the molly sort of thing. So I don't know why that's like that. But yeah, reflective bits. I mean, if it was SHTF I was getting home, how much do I want to be seen is the question. So if I've got the glow sticks and I've got means to make light with the torches, I can signal if I need to, but I'd rather be unseen if possible. Sounds silly, but I include thick blade refuse sack and armbands in case entering water, river, like canals. Yeah, I mean, obviously do this to your scenario. Where I'm going, there's no major crossings. There's nothing like that. And there's 2 or 3 alternative routes, which are all high ground and it's not prone to flooding. So it doesn't work for me. But remember, a get home bag, like a bug out bag, like an EDC, is personal to you, right? You know what you need. play out the scenario in your mind. Do the scenario if you can, like I went on my hike, realize what I'm actually using, what I'm actually missing, practice these things, but it's always going to be personal to you. Your terrain is going to be different from mine. Your weather may be different from mine. It may be a completely different climate to me. So remember, it's personal. People think the state will come to their rescue. It will not. That's the message we have to get out, says Jongsman38. You can get that message out with my t-shirt. I've not got it on today, but I've got a t-shirt that's on my store that says, nobody is coming to save you. A few random people who are not preppers have asked me about that, which is a great conversation starter. Did you have or plan to get a folding bike for the car boot? I've looked at it, Kelly. I really have, and I'd love it. I'd love a folding electric bike. It would be great. Unfortunately, I'm a victim of budgets. It is what it is. You know, I can only do what I can afford. One day, maybe, but who knows where I'll be working and where I'll be living by the time I can afford that. But it's a great idea if you can do it, that folding bike, if you've got the room for that, if you've got the money for that. It's a wonderful idea. I do like it. I'd love to do it. It's just not possible at the moment. Saving up to stay at home. Then biscuits brown with dog biscuits meant violence constipate you. Yes, well, it's a good thing. I don't want to be pooping on the road if I can avoid it anyway. Bit of apricot jam. Go down a treat. It's not as bad as the Screech used to be, Sapper. You remember the Screech, the orange powder? Oh. Do you have a whistle mic to get attention if needed? No. No, I don't. Whistle. I always see whistles on other people's loadouts and I think, what the hell would I need a whistle for? But, you know, better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. I've wrote whistle down. Thank you for that one, Snapdragon. Always learning. Are you going to the bushcraft show, said Mark's Adventures? I was initially contacted about speaking there. Nothing's come back about that afterwards. So, because it's gone radio silent on that, probably not. Probably not. We shall see. I'll let you know if I find out anything about that, Marks. Thank you. A personal attack alarm in case somebody wants to get... Wow. Somebody wants to steal my fire starting supplies, my Vaseline balls. No, I don't think I'd want the... Actually, it depends. The personal alarm could be rigged up as a tripwire to protect an area I'm sleeping in as well. I'll look at it. Personal alarm. Right. But I'll have to find one where it is literally on a pull so I can then set it up with some of the paracord as a trip. Good idea. Thank you for that one. This is why we're doing this. Hi, Lewis. Give Awesome Books and World Books a go. Good conditions. Yeah, World Books I've used before, Storage Mouse. Thank you for that. Oh, it's a nice collection of equipment. I hope you never need it. Me too. But, you know, I've dived into that bag a few times in traffic jams and stuff like that, hence the lack of protein bars and stuff. It's just always good to have with me anyway. Everyone, if you're stuck in traffic for, like there's been a major accident and you're stuck in your car for 12 hours, if you could pull a little stove out and make a coffee and replenish that later, how awesome is that? How do I know my home will still be habitable? Well, hopefully, based on my communications plan with network people and Mrs. Urban Prepper here, at the moment, I will be out of signal for the whole of 3 miles between people I can talk to and get mesh signals off, or possibly the ham radio, depending on what the situation is I'm getting home from. So hopefully there'll be communications. And if there's no communication coming back from home, I will still head here because my family is number one priority and approach with caution. with my zombie spade in hand. Thank you, Kurs. Yeah. What was that, Lady J? Oh, blackout with traffic. What's going on? My old button stopped. I can't read that. Never mind. What about lightweight empty bag to gather things you find along the way, food and useful items? Well, there's plenty of room in the bag itself, as I showed you, even with all that stuff in. And of course, the pouch that's going to be on the side with my water bottle in has a pouch at the front there. Potentially, I'm going to actually, let's write that down. I'm going to throw a few thick, solid black bags in there, rolled up like rubble sacks. Not that I'd want to add extra weight, but at least if I was only 5 miles from home and I came across something I thought that's going to be handy, I could probably take it then. Thank you, Craft That by Cat. Forgive me if this has been touched on, but solar wind-up radio may not be ideal for everyone, but each to their own. Oh, not with this kit, no. But, ta-da! This is what you're talking about. Solar panel on the top there. That, and I'm about to... Oh, there you go. There's the copyright strike straight away. And torch, etc. And it's got the crank handle there. This is a great thing to have anyway. But it is at home, but I'm not going to put it in the kit bag. I've got the ham radio if I need to, and it's, like I say, it's about getting home as quick as possible. Bug out bag, yes. Thanks, Chris82. Loving the shirt, says Lewis. My own design, well, actually, kind of inspired from Mirror Safety. Did one similar, but I made it better. They have no copyright on it. If anything, the Punisher people do. In the last was people taped their lights to a strip in the center of the headlights. Ah, right, okay. Are we talking about a blackout and the car lights? Right. I mean, if it's an EMP, I've got an electric car, so it's pretty goosed anyway. Thank you, Miss Worm. Andre, it is the last week in June. The last week in June. Last weekend in June. UKPN.online. If you go there, you'll see all the dates and everything on there. All emergency services will be diverted to prioritise small fire extinguishers. God. So small fire extinguishers are good. Yeah, definitely. Fire extinguisher in the car. I have full-size fire extinguishers at home. I'm not even going to grab it. I'm going to use... So I've got full-size fire extinguisher down there. Hopefully you can see that. Tucked in the corner. Fire blanket is up there, mounted on the wall. So I like to be sure for fires. But actually, I think, who was it posted it? Somebody posted, I think it was Aldi, the centre aisle. They've currently got powder extinguishers in there for about 20 quid, which will look a decent size. So worth getting if somebody's not already got. Great for the lad. Great to have on hand, Mike, especially the pull pins, a couple of quid on eBay. Great for in the home too, yeah. I can't listen, when it comes to prepping, I started with the Faraday, not the Faraday, what am I about? The Carrington event. That's what started me looking at it. Big solar flare comes down, takes out the power grid. Small electronics should be fine, but the power grid will be gone. So one of the side effects of that, a lot of people prep for losing power, but what they don't prep for is when it happened during the Carrington event, telegraph lines set on fire. So that wiring coming into your house could be an aerial that's big enough, and you could end up with a lot of house fires going on. So prep for fire safety. Massive one. Oh, you're talking about the pinpull alarm. Oh, there we go. I sent you a link on Messenger for a pinpull alarm. Thank you, Lewis. Much appreciated. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the concept of the rulers of the earth keeping people under fear as a means of control? Would prepping mindset be considered a form of fear, even if it's not scary, psychological? Prepping mindset done right is not a form of fear. It's a form of alleviating fear. It's a form of insurance, right? You're prepping for something you might fear, be that controlling factors from a third party, be that natural disaster, be that something, a household emergency. So that's the thing you might fear. Prepping is the answer to that, the cure to that. Yeah. It's your insurance. Happy to pay for car insurance, happy to pay for home insurance, but don't want to prep. It's more likely something's going to happen that you're going to need your preps than there's going to need your car insurance or your home insurance. And that's statistical. That's statistically accurate. Oh, I can't speak. I said 10 more minutes. I think we're going to be done shortly. Just quickly going through. I don't want to miss any questions. Thank you, CJ. Lots of new names on here tonight. I think the word is spreading, hopefully. Esbit stove fits in the side pouch. Yes. Funnily enough, what you also used to get in the British Army rations is this little bad boy. So this will fit in something as well. So that's an Esbit stove, but basically it's a one-time use folding one. Yeah. So you can fold it. It's supposed to be one-time use, but depends how much you use it. You can fold it back flat if you need to, but the heat does take a big stress on it. But you can get them really, really cheap. Now, sometimes you can also get them in the accessory packs that I showed you with the coffee and tea and stuff like that. And sometimes that'll come in one. Well, they used to anyway. But yeah, folding Esbit stoves is another option as well. There's loads of options. I've just picked what's best for me, what I've tried and tested, and what I prefer. Thank you for the advice, though, Paul Thomas. Plus, I used to prefer Esbit stoves when you bought them and it came with a lot of tablets in. But guess what? You can't do that anymore. I'm not allowed. The bloody fire gel things. I don't fancy them. CJ, take off your tinfoil hat in here. We're quite happy with a bit of tinfoil hat. It's fine. I have a radio in my blackout kit. Yeah, always good thing to have. Thanks for the t-shirt link there, Miss Worm. Hit the like button. Yes, really, please do. Rift and Miss Worm in the house representing there. Thank you very much. Yes, Horace. Yes, it's a good one. You'll find it in most survival guides as well. And it's in my wallet. And my wallet's part of my EDC. So I do have one with me. Now, this is not for an emergency jump along the way, a bit of stress relief. This is because they are a massive water carrier. And it's also a sealed container to put anything in there. All right. They can carry a lot of water and they can go over something to make it more waterproof if you needed to, etc. They could even cover a wound if you had to. Really good point. Bookfast when in Rome, looking forward to it. Oh, that's what our brothers drink, Bookfast. I tried it actually, it's quite nice. It was all right. If you use dry powder extinguisher indoors, ensure your back is to the door and you can find your way out of the room. No joke, they fill the room, you can't see a thing. I know this through experience, 100% right there, rift security, through a stag do and some idiot deciding to play with one in the hotel room. Not me. I'm not the idiot. I was the victim. Glue sticks for fishing rods. Good to find the way back to camp. I think we're going into the realms of bug out bag there, guys. I'm going to skip to the bottom. Listen, I'm going to have to end this because it wasn't supposed to go on this long. Mrs. Urban Prepper wants her kitchen back. For your bag spare socks. So I've got one that belongs in a museum. Yes, Mel, the hex stores were the best. You got the little hex tablets with them. I think you got about 25 of them came with it or something stupid like that. It was great. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me. Hope it gave you a bit of insight. I've got some notes. I've got 5 really good points there to improve my kit. So you guys have helped me, which is awesome. Be assured I will act on that. Anything further you want to know, please feel free to pop it in the comments after, ask a question, come down to Discord and join us on Discord. I have updated all the links. People said the links weren't working before. Hopefully they all are now. Below every video and every live now, there should be a list of links. Some of it is to help the channel, to donate, to buy stuff, discount codes, and of course communications through Discord and X and stuff like that. All them links are below. Feel free to use what you want, don't use what you want, doesn't bother me. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you in another video really soon. And I'm usually on the ball looking for the button here, but I'm using a terrible laptop to say goodbye. Right, we'll use that one. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Bye.